Hello and welcome to episode 429 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Well, today's episode I'm absolutely thrilled to announce is genuinely an incredible singer, an incredible person, and the band are just phenomenal. And as you're listening to this podcast right now, they've just released a brand new album today. That's if you're listening on Friday the 25th of April. But I'm joined by the incredible Justine Jones from the awesome band Employed to Serve. Their brand new album, Fallen Star, I've been lucky enough to have an advance copy. At this moment in time is my album of the year. It is absolutely phenomenal. And if you're listening to this, the band are playing London tonight. They've just done a few UK dates. They're playing the Rescue Rooms in July. They're playing 2000 Trees. Go and see them. They are absolutely phenomenal. One of my favourite bands. And I'm so excited to share the interview with me and Justine in just a couple of minutes' time. But with every episode of Mark and Me, you're used to this by now. I always like to use the intro just quickly to touch base and talk about my last episode. I was joined by the band Hot Wax. I want to say a massive thanks to everyone that tuned in, especially all the people that then shared it on their Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and to the band as well for obviously sharing it on their socials because the numbers were great. That's also an amazing album you need to go and check out. And thanks again to the band for coming on the Mark and Me podcast. But today it's all about Employed to Serve, my album of the year, Fallen Star. And truly one of my guests of the year. I absolutely love Justine. This interview is so fun. If I told you now the subjects we cover, you wouldn't believe it. And I don't know how we even got there. But it's just one of those chats that just goes literally anywhere and everywhere. And is so joyful from the start. And I can't wait to share it. So instead of teasing it anymore, I think the best thing to do is to get straight to it. So here's me and Justine talking all things Employed to Serve. So thanks for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute honour. Now, what I do with everyone that comes on the podcast is I like to go on a bit of a trip down memory lane, take it right back to the very start. And I'm talking not when you first started a band, when you first got into music. And I wondered if you could share with me maybe that first album that you remember buying with your pocket money, or maybe it was given to you by a family member or friend that made you just absolutely fall in love with music.
Ooh, I've got two answers. There's a less cool answer and
an honest answer, yeah.
So I'm just going to tell you both because I think they're both quite important to me. I remember my first ever proper album was probably Justin Timberlake's Justified album. I remember seeing that music video for like I Love You on I think it was MTV at the time, and it blew me away just like how good the production was. And from then on I got quite obsessive with music from a super young age. I can't remember how young I'd have been. I don't think I was even double digits. But yeah, I just remember being in love with like people like him, like Destiny's Child, like TLC, sort of all the sort of like 2000s R&B and pop artists. Like that was like my sort of segue in. And then from that was like I got into like Avril Lavigne because she was like very like punky and quite cool.
Yeah.
And seemed like, you know what I mean, like she was like very much a tomboy and, you know, felt very much like, you know, she represented my sort of personality, as I'm sure a lot of young girls who were sort of more into skateboarding and music and video games and, you know, your traditional like quote unquote girly interests.
Of course, yeah.
And then from there, I think I just got into like sort of, I guess, guitar music, like broadly speaking, through the Now CDs because my mum used to buy them when she did the food shop. And it was like Now 49 was a big one because I think it had some 41 on there, Blink 182, and like Nickelback was on one of them, and like yeah, and just sort of like all those kind of bands, and that's how I got into sort of Kerrang, because that's where all those bands were played. And then yeah, from there I just sort of snowballed, and I'm trying to think of the heavy metal album I got into. I'm trying to think. There was sort of two records. Like Trivium Ascendancy was a huge one.
Yeah,
I
huge.
got really into. I bought because I liked the album cover. Like it was back when if I didn't like see it much on Kerrang or Scuzz TV, I kind of just shopped by album cover. Like when I had my pocket money, and back then like CDs were like £20, so it took me
Yeah.
like months to save up for like one CD. So like yeah, I just sort of like pick things at random, and that was one of them. And Nine Inch Nails with Teeth. And
Wow.
like I just remember those two records like very different from each other, but like I'm just loving them. And yeah, and then I found sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, no,
But
you made such a good point already because I'm going to sound like a granddad, but I did a paper round which would be like £7 a week. And an album in HMV or even our price in Virgin Megastore was £14. So I had
now
to,
for an import as well. Like
yeah, so I had to like pay £15 or 14, it'd be 2 weeks worth of pocket money. So I'd be only getting two albums a month. And you probably can relate, even if the album was shite, you would love it because you've just justified spending 2 weeks of working to afford it. And you'd
yeah,
go home and listen to the whole thing in its entirety and probably make yourself love it because you want to kind of say to yourself, it was worth 2 weeks' work.
oh mate, that's sort of like the stomach drop when you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't good.
I got Reload by Metallica, and I remember I love Metallica, but I don't think that's their best album. And I worked and bought it, and I came home and I was like, oh, like I could have bought Offspring or Deftones or Pearl Jam, and I've made a mistake. What do I do? Like, it's not Spotify. I can't just delete it and add a new album.
My big one was like I bought the Misfits record and I thought they were heavy metal, but they're not. Ops. And I was just sort of like, oh, it sounds old. I like Misfits now. I was just a petulant teenager, do you know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
have any taste back then. But yeah, like I was just like, oh, this is bad. And then I think I got a Silverstein compilation record or something like that, and it wasn't the full album, and I didn't realize because I didn't like do my research. Because I used to have a little notebook where like any band that came on Kerrang or Scuzz TV before my morning sort of like trip to school. I'd like get up early and I'd write down everything I wanted and sort of like work out a budget system. Oh, kids don't know how good they've got it these days,
They're like,
Mark.
listen to Nan and Grandad. What are they talking about? But
Yeah.
it's true. And do you know what? It took me straight back as well when you mentioned Justified because at uni we had to have a module where we stripped an album apart and then had to re-record instruments in music tech, and we did Justified. And I'm going to sound really old, but I remember listening to it and thinking this is one of the best sounding produced albums ever. Like the snare and the production of the drums alone. Fair play, Justin Timberlake. That album was incredible. I don't. It's not a guilty pleasure. I'm proud to say that album is amazing.
Oh yeah, like that is like proudly one of my favorite records of all time.
Yeah.
To this day, like I still put it on at least a couple of times a day.
People are like, I'm never listening to Employed to Serve again. Mark and me, I'm unsubscribing. But
Oh man, I
fuck
had
it.
a crush on him. He had spaghetti hair. Loved it.
It's all good. So I suppose live music then follows from those first albums that we've mentioned today. And I say it, and I've apologized to my listeners, but they still stick around. But I do talk about it on every episode. But I was very lucky that one of my first gigs was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Oh,
I was very, very lucky. I
era.
loved When I Come Around. I loved the whole album of Dookie, and it blew my mind. So when I got to see it live, it changed my life. That was the moment I was like, I'm going to buy a guitar. I'm going to dye my hair black. I'm going to put nail varnish on. I want to be Billy Joe Armstrong. And then that led me to then Limp Bizkit, Korn, Deftones, and it's probably the reason I'm here now listening to the bands I do today. So fair play, Green Day. But I wondered if you're going to be honest and tell me your first gig, and was it great, or is it an embarrassing one where you're like, well, I've got two answers. One's really cool and one's not.
Trying to think, like a proper show. It was Billy Talent, and
Oh, wow.
I think it was at Astoria in London, and it was with Ruben opening. And it was really, really good. Like I love, yeah, that was like one of my favorite like memories is like going. I was like, I think I just turned 14, and I'd really Like, so I live like just out like in the sort of suburbs of London. It's like kind of like 20 minutes
Yeah.
from central London, like on the train. So I was always super close, but it was really hard to convince like my parents to let me like go into London. Like, 'cause my dad's was a London police officer, so like he was just sort of like it's dangerous. So I wasn't allowed to go. For, like I managed to really like wear them down. I was able to go with my friends, and it was like the best time ever.
Ruben, I'm not just saying this. You can look on my bios or my social media. Are probably my favorite band of all time. Like between Ruben, Thrice, Jeff Buckley, he changes Radiohead, but Ruben have a place in my heart that has never been filled. And I went to the Billy Talent tour with Ruben supporting, and I couldn't believe it. And I was at Nottingham Rock City on that tour. I think it was Billy Talent's second album tour, wasn't it? Was it the
Hmm.
second? And it was magical. Like Jamie Lemon is one of the greatest out there, but Billy Talent live, like you must have come home and been like, how will I ever top this? Because I still don't know how they do it with only one guitarist. I watch them and I'm like, how do they sound that good?
Yeah, they were incredible. It's fun actually because I saw last festival season like because we were just sort of like playing the same days as them. It was just like they're still
The energy that Ben still has live, yeah.
like they're not like yeah, it's just insane.
So where did it go from there? Were you like, I want to be in a band, I want to now spend all my money, I want to convince my parents to allow me to go to London and see more shows, or were you just like not even thinking that at that point?
Yeah, so like I was like immediately enamored. Like I got a guitar I think for Christmas. Um, Tried to play it, didn't have the I really struggled sitting still when I was younger. I do still do actually, but like it yeah it was like I got to like a little bit of a point, but like I just yeah didn't have like the sort of drive to sit and actually put the work in. Like I always
Too much
really
effort.
dude, yeah, I really admire like people who play instruments because it's like you really have to apply yourself. And other real big thing I've noticed is that if you don't have natural rhythm, like it makes it even harder because you can play the right notes on the guitar, but if the rhythm's wrong, like you're
Yeah,
playing completely different. And that's something I really didn't understand until I started doing vocals and having to actually learn like some semblance of rhythm. It's like this is everything. Like you can play a bum note, but just as long as it's in time, you're kind of okay.
that's fair. Yeah, I suppose people don't think about that, and especially when you're in a band, then you've got to think of the other dynamics and the bass and the drums and the vocals and it all coming together. So I suppose, did you just think to yourself, I'm going to concentrate on just singing now, and as much as I enjoy playing guitar and learning certain songs and playing riffs and stuff, I'm going to focus on hopefully just being a singer?
Yeah, that sort of came when I was like a bit older. So I got into photography and designing MySpace layouts.
MySpace, wow.
I taught myself HTML and I did like sort of graphic design and I sort of did photography, sort of like more visual aspects.
Yeah.
That's something that like came a bit more natural to me than like musical stuff. So I sort of did that for a little while, did photos, and from that I just sort of like got to know loads of people. I've just sort of yeah been like knocking around sort of doing that since I was like 16. Going to death metal shows as well, taking photos. I've got like a real cool little archive on Facebook actually of like all the shows I used to shoot. Like I had like I did like photos from like a Brighton show of like Stray from the Path
Oh,
last week,
wow.
and Every Time I Die at the Horn in Brighton. Like there's like all these like really old photos I have like just on my Facebook, which is like quite fun to look at every now and then when I'm feeling a bit nostalgic. But yeah, it wasn't until Sammy started, I think we were like 19. So Sammy started doing like this drum machine project called Employed to Serve, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you just try and do vocals?" And then I did. And then yeah, I did a poor technique back in the day, but I learned quickly there to put it correctly. But yeah.
That's cool. Like, you say it so kind of half-heartedly, like, yeah, so I just gave it a go and joined, and I was then the singer of Employed to Serve. Like, it was just effortless, but surely it must have been nervous, kind of, well, I'm going to be fronting this band or this project, and people are going to see me if we ever play these songs live.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think yeah, because when I was younger, I was actually pretty shy. Like yeah, so that was quite weird, sort of like learning to be the center of attention. Which is quite funny because like I like love it now. I love attention. I feed off of it. But yeah, like it's yeah, it was an interesting thing. Like I got very drunk before our first ever show because I thought that would help. Turns out being drunk is even worse because you make more mistakes
You just
and you're
don't know until the next day.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was really fun. We started like, like we just played shows at the Camden Unicorn basically every weekend until I sort of just got used to it really. It's just like with anything until you kind of get used to sort of like, you do it the first couple of times. It's like I guess of you said you were like doing like sort of teaching and lecturing.
Yeah,
I bet the first time you started like having everyone's focus on you for the first time, you're like,
terrifying. Yeah,
I actually like read into this because this is what I do. I just Google stupid stuff. The reason why people have a lot of anxiety when there's lots of people watching them is because it's sort of a almost like innate sort of defense thing. So usually in the animal kingdom, if loads of things are staring at you, it means they want to eat you.
wow.
So it's actually you're being smart. You're not dumb. Like you're self-preservation. So
It's when the college students start licking their lips and like, I'm
yeah,
like, are they going to eat me?
low growls coming from the back row.
At what point was it? Because obviously, with full respect, a lot of people I talk to start a band, do the Battle of Bands, do college bands, get into uni, do music projects that evolve into a band. At what point for you, when it was more than, I suppose, a bit of fun, a project that you were getting involved with, the two of you, when did it start to really feel like, this is probably something I should take quite seriously and not not become a career, because I suppose that's not the right word, but
Full-time hobby.
that's the perfect. Why didn't I think of that? When did it become a full-time hobby?
One day we'll get paid for our passions, huh?
Never.
Um, oh, that's a good one. So I guess when we started like working with labels, like we had so at the first imagination of BTS was just me, Sammy, and a drum machine.
Yeah.
Like literally programmed all the drums. I yelled all over it. We put it on the internet. And we released our first couple of EPs through Grindcore Karaoke, which is Jay Randall's label from Agrophobic Nosebleed. And they were like, I like was a huge fan, or is am a huge fan of Agrophobic Nosebleed. And they were sort of like the sort of example of what you can achieve like with a drum machine. We didn't have to make any new friends. It's perfect.
That's awesome.
And as I'm sure most people know, like metal drummers are hard to find. So yeah, it was just sort of like a great way of like releasing music without having the personnel. Yeah, so we released it on Grindcore Karaoke, and then a German label called Warg Records like pressed it on tape, and we ended up like selling out of like I mean there were small runs like I don't know like 25 or whatever to 50. And we kept selling out the tapes, and we're like, oh, like this is pretty cool. And then that same summer, we went to Heavy Festival in 2012, and I saw the Chariot. Oh, who else was there? Glassjaw, like Vales, Brother of the Lake, like Royal Massey, Sugar, like all these incredible.
Wow.
And like from then on, I was like, I want to play live. Like I'm going to get over myself and just start performing. And then, yeah, like so Sammy at the time was studying at ACM in Guildford, and he put like those websites like Find a Bandmate.
Yeah.
I think he had one of those like but like a university portal one, and he put one up, and then our drummer Robbie Back contacted us, and then yeah, we started playing shows with him.
Were you really nervous? I know you said you love the attention now and it's what you seek, but at then,
Oh yeah, I was like dry heaving. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was very much dry heaving. Like, that It's Always Sunny episode with Dee is just like dry heaving every time she's a bit nervous. So that was me. It was
that's incredible.
gagging. It was
Was it
uh,
hard to kind of convince your family and friends around you that this could be something that could be a full-time job? I know there's selling 25, 50 cassettes a run, but when it becomes something the way you kind of can take a step back and think, actually, I want to make this my like full time hobby, but hopefully it'll pay the bills. Hopefully it can be a full time job.
They've always been really supportive, to be honest. That's never, I mean, it'd be nice to earn
Yeah,
money. Who doesn't like money?
be nice
But
to
like,
eat a full meal and be able to pay for
yeah.
it. Yeah,
But like I've always sort of like no I've done it for fun. Like
yeah.
it was like I mean obviously like I've always tried to like, make it profitable so it can pay for itself and it's sustainable, blah blah blah. But like I've always had jobs as well as it. Like, I worked at like a computer store at the beginning and then like ever since I think I was like left uni, I've like been working in music. So it's always quite like I feel like I'm kind of almost getting paid for it anyway because I'm sort of doing the sort of more music admin side of things by running a record label and I do PR as well. So I've kind of been able to like create something that I can work on whilst touring and
What a
also be,
great balance that is.
yeah, I'm really lucky. I kind of just I kind of fall into things. I'm not very good at like sticking to something, but I'm good at trying things. So
Yeah, I was the kid that was like, "Mom, I want to learn the piano. Are you sure? If we buy a piano, will you definitely play it?" Like, yes, I will. After a week, I'm like, "I want to play guitar." They're like,
yeah.
"Ah, son, like you've just literally had a piano moved into the lounge. We've had to make so much space." I'm like, "Okay, I will do guitar." Mom,
But
I quite like drums.
new flavor of the week. But I suppose though, in like our younger selves' defense, that's how you learn what you like. You have
Yeah,
to try things,
but I'm in my 40s doing it now, and I'm still like, I want to get a PlayStation. I'm like, what am I doing?
I mean, it's a wise investment.
It's very good, but I'm still retro. I'm like, let's get the Mega Drive out. Let's get the SNES out. I'm still like, I want to
Oh,
play old
dude, I
games.
tried that, but like because of HD TVs, the pixels are so big they make me nauseous.
That's a
I
good
tried
point. Yeah,
playing, was it GoldenEye on the N64 on like my big screen TV, and I was just like, this is heinous.
yeah, that's fair. And then it's not quite as good as you remember, and then I don't know if it's just me, but I'm rubbish at the games now. I used to be really good. I think like as a younger child, I was just like, oh, I've got the attention span to play this game and really give it everything. Now I'm like, oh, I'm just getting defeated. I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck it. I can't be
Yeah,
bothered.
I get pissed off. Like I've got a Switch, which I love and hate. Uh,
Hmm.
But like I play like cozy games. Like I like to play like Stardew Valley and I suppose Pokemon kind of is cozy because there's nothing thrilling about it.
Yeah,
Um,
I like those sort of people are just kind of it's you can just play and have it and not
all
as a
along.
background, but it's just like a bit of pick it up, play and put it back down.
Yeah. Just pretend to be in a socialist world like in Stardew Valley. I'm just, bartering and growing things.
And then I'll come back to real life.
Yeah, it's capitalism.
So I suppose with employed to serve, I'm always intrigued, especially when you're on the inside and looking out. Were you able to ever see the growth of the band? You can't be oblivious and, humble enough to say, "Oh, I didn't realize we're quite popular." Like the numbers speak for themselves. Your festivals, I've seen the journey you've been on it. 2,000 Trees download these festivals. You are always going up the bill. It's nice to see that you're growing with the nice backing of the label and the new album coming out. Surely you must be able to think we're doing something right because the numbers are increasing. And I hate the fact that I have to look at podcast downloads and how many followers I've got on Instagram, and that's what people care about. But as long as it's increasing every time you do an update, surely you must feel that you're onto a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've always been a firm believer of just as long as you're doing better than your past self, then
Yeah.
you're going in the right direction. Because it is easy. And like I'm so guilty of comparing numbers. The one at the moment is like, was it Spotify monthly listeners? And like
Oh,
I'm fixated. I hate myself for it because I'm just like, oh, we've dropped 100 people. What's happened? And then you're just like, oh, it's just so pathetic. But yeah, like it's like overall, like yeah, I'm really stoked. I kind of did this for fun. Did this for fun. I still do this for fun. Let's correct that.
next
Uh,
week, employed to serve break up. Like what? That wasn't meant to be taken like that.
yeah, I mean, I essentially just sort of use this ban for like paid for travel.
That's
Uh,
it. And
yeah,
takeaways.
yeah, takeaways, get Deliveroos,
That's
get
it.
buyouts, get my Nando's every
And
day.
eventually you'll publish a spreadsheet of who does the best chippies in the UK.
Oh, I do. I have a mental spreadsheet about service stations. I'm really snobby with service stations. Like I have a thing like So my favorite in the UK is Cobham service station. It's like top tier. It has, your KFC, it's got your Mexicana, it's got a Nando's, a Pizza Express, a Macca's, and a Leon. So like you have,
Jesus, you got everything.
it's really good.
You
Like
didn't
it's
mention Greg's though.
Oh, Greg's. I do like a Greg's, but the thing is with Greg's, they're at every service station. You always got a Greg's and a WH Smith.
Yeah,
It pisses me
and a
off.
Burger King.
A Burger King, yeah, that's another one. But yeah, you eat like trash on tour. So like when you get a good white one, because I find like Mexican food's like a pretty good like meal to have on the go because it's like quite a healthy all round meal.
Bit
Whereas
messy, a little bit messy. A
it
burrito I
is,
can never get to stay in one piece. I'm always like, for fuck's sake, why didn't I ask for a fork? You know?
it's not a first date food, but I mean,
Never.
at the end of the day, like we're all very well acquainted with each other in this band, so.
Yeah, it's all good. Like you've still got half of your burrito hanging out your nose, what you're doing, but it's fine because you're going to spend the next 10 hours with them. Well, I'm more about the meal deal. I mean, the fans are really going to be on the edge of their seats now, listening to us talking about this. But you're talking about service stations. I'm like, what's the best meal deal? So when I'm traveling, I go to festivals and I do press. I'm always like, Tesco's pretty good, but every time I go in, it's going up and up. So it's like £3.69, then it's £4. You got. I
Yeah,
like a good meal deal. I think if you get a good sandwich, a good drink, and a great side for like, who does the best? You know, I'm sometimes like M&S, but it's a fiver. And then I'll go to a
work
service.
at Waitrose and M&S though. I have an
Yeah.
issue with meal deal sandwiches. Like I can't taste the difference between what each like if I could have a cheese versus a tuna one, and I swear to God they taste the same. Like I don't they taste like I don't know salted cardboard that's a bit wet and a bit cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always go for the poke bowls.
Yeah, they're good. And they feel like they're better value because on their own, they're like a fiver. So you're like, well, actually, I'm getting the drink for like nothing and the crisps are like 9p. So I have to
Yeah,
go for the meal deal.
try and go for the most expensive item across all three categories, and then you've really got a good deal.
But
Because
what
if
you
you
need
do
to do
like
is
cheese and coleslaw, yeah.
never get an egg mayo sandwich. Like, get the best deluxe version. Get yourself like the largest Red Bull they do, like the branded Red Bull. It can't be the cheap knockoff. And then get like Walker's Max because they're like 150. So you've made like £8 worth of food for a
Yeah,
fiver.
you're basically like, yeah, getting paid to eat good food now.
So this is why you're doing employed to serve. That's why it comes back to the music, and you're using the band just to find out the best service stations and the best meal deals, which is great.
What can I say? I'm well traveled.
So from this traveling and from the touring, have you been able to see how much you've progressed and how you are evolving and the numbers are not going down and you are at 106,093 monthly listeners on Spotify as we speak and you're playing great festivals on the big stages? Surely you must be feeling like this is a good time to be in the band.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx it because we've yet to go on tour on this cycle. It could all go horribly, horribly wrong, but but yeah, no. To this point, it feels good. It's just it's nice because people are broke right now, so it's pretty awesome when people are like spending their hard-earned money to watch me shout.
Yeah,
And the rest of the band, it's not just me, but in my head, it's just me that comes to see.
that's it. Of course, that's it. And oh, there's other people here. Really? I thought employed to serve was one person.
They're just cardboard cutouts, you see. They're all machines.
AI.
Yeah, that's it.
So we're getting to the point of Fallen Star coming out. You've got an amazing artist who's done a beautiful piece of work, our good friend Luke. And are you really excited now? Because I suppose when you've done an album, it's mastered, there must be that frustration. I always think for a band, if I recorded with you now and I finished, and I'm like, right, me and Justine have got this episode, it's finished, and someone says, sorry guys, you've got to wait 9 months, we've got to press it, we've got to publish it, we've got to get a marketing campaign. It must be really frustrating to have the album ready and kind of sitting waiting for the world to listen to when you could just go publish.
Oh yeah, like it's annoying. Like,
Yeah,
but it's part of it. There's like so much that goes into sort of like getting all the moving parts to sort of like yeah, come out together essentially. But yeah, we sat on this record for a year, but I'm by this point I'm pretty good at once we've like listened to it to death to approve it for mixing and mastering.
yeah.
I put it in a box and I don't touch it until I need to start learning a couple songs live.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's fresh now. So I actually listened to the album for the first time all the way through today as I was writing up a track by track thing. And I was like, this is like the first time in like a year, maybe, or like a bit less than a year that I've actually listened to it all the way through. And yeah,
Did you like
basically,
it?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Like I at least think it's great. So it's just like, yeah, it's nice. I always worry about listening back and be like, oh, what the fuck were we thinking?
Yeah, that bit doesn't work actually when I listen back. Can we change it? Like, it's a bit late now.
Hold the press.
With the then transition of a recorded finished album to, I'm sure as a band, those songs are the best to play live in rehearsal because you're getting to the point where it's new songs. It must be exciting. It's new toys to play with, isn't it? You've got those great songs that people absolutely love that want to hear, that they'll buy a ticket and expect to hear them. But surely as a band, to then be in the position where you can be in a rehearsal room and be like, right, let's see what we can bring from this album to the set list. That must be really, really positive as a band to be able to sit there and go, let's see how this is going to work now for the crowds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is really exciting. It's both exciting and a little bit hold on to your butts because you can't some songs that we write were like especially in this album, our last record, are like our hardest stuff to play. So you are just a bit like it's one thing recording it and then it's another like cohesively playing it all together at the same time live in front of
Yeah.
people. So that's always a bit interesting, like hashing it out in the practice room because you're just sort of like, oh God. But yeah, we're at this point now where like we've had enough time to like sit on the songs and like work through them. So yeah, I'm really excited. And it is you kind of re-experience the songs for the first time when you actually see people's reactions to them as well.
And kind of
Uh,
what works and what doesn't. And
and like I like how things translate better live than I thought they would. Like there's certain songs that people love more, like because it's live. I don't know, it's an interesting thing.
are you nervous when you still play live?
Only when I have to talk in between.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm a bit like, I don't know, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like I'm like yelling and then I stop and then I have to talk in my normal voice and it's obviously a bit more high pitched than my yelling. And I kind of feel like it ruins it a little bit because I can't yell in the middle and like shout.
How is everyone doing today? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that makes me laugh if like n not when other people do it, but when I do it because I know I'm
yeah.
just but I'm working on it. I've got like I've got to think of like a little script in like in between. I don't like say the same thing every night, but I have to work out because I say weird things or like I don't
People
know.
just looking like, what's she on about? Just play the next song. Yeah.
My favorite thing I did was like in 2000 Trees last year. I just mid set was just like, I know it's hot, but so are we. Just I just say nonsense 'cause I'm like really dehydrated and having heat stroke. So yeah, I have to think of what I'm saying in between and then to not ruin it.
But at least you're talking like, this is no dig at bands, but sometimes I've paid for a ticket, I go to a gig, I can't wait to see the band play. And they don't even say good evening. They just come on, play a set. I mean, it's quite cool, isn't it? You can play a song and then just, thanks, that's it. And the whole mystery's there. But I think you should be like, how is everyone doing? And this is a great city to be in. And thanks for
Yeah,
coming along tonight. And
the scene is like alive and strong tonight.
yeah, and you're all hot and so are we.
Yeah. Cardio is cardio. Keep motion.
Have
Of
you
course,
actually ever said that?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. I think it's on video somewhere on YouTube.
Did the rest of the band were like, did it just stop and everyone just look at you and it goes silent?
No, the bastards don't have me in their ears.
Oh,
They don't have me on their channels at all. Yeah. So I
so
could say
it's,
whatever I want.
try it.
Be mugging them off and they would never know.
Yeah. I want you now at your next gig to test that and prove it and just show that you can just slag off any of the members and just see at the end of the show if they're all like really nice or like the sound guy's been lying to you and they actually can hear you.
I'll just be like sharing their mother's maiden name, the security passwords. They would never know.
Are you finding the balance of working, doing the label, PR, being a singer of a fucking awesome band hard? Or is it a really nice balance to have that you feel that you're being paid, you're in the music industry, you're working in the industry, you perform in the industry, so it's all of kind of a big parcel that's labeled up together.
It like it ebbs and flows in terms of feeling balanced. But
Yeah.
like that's just kind of I just think that's life in general a little bit. Like I have friends who like have proper jobs and work in science and are doctors and things, and even they're like like get burnt out and they're quite like busy and stuff like that. So I'm like, no matter what sort of career that you do, I think, yeah, like I think it's gonna have like times where you are just a bit like, oh my God, I barely breathed today. But I wouldn't have it any other way because I like the chaos. It keeps me engaged. Because I used to have just like one job when I was like younger, and I hated it because I was just like bored out of my skull and creating problems in my head just to have something to think about.
Yeah,
She laughs manically.
I still
But
do it now, all the time.
yeah, I like to have stuff to like think on and just ruminate over. And I don't know, I like flitting. I like the fact that I have three things to sort of jump between. And like, if I get frustrated with one thing, I can work on something else for a little bit. And then I have time away from it. And then I like problem solve whilst, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Keep the kind of free plate spinning, which isn't always easy. And when one starts to drop and you see that wobble, you're like, I'll run over and play with that one for a bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. A massive one recently actually is like I've stopped I have like I don't know if like forever, but like I've stopped drinking and like that's a huge one that I've noticed, especially because like I'm in my 30s now. I find my hangovers like are like creeping into my week
Yeah.
and then like I'm on the back foot on Monday and like I yeah, like you kind of like don't realize how much it feels like you're wading through custard on a hangover, just like trying to think of things. So that's like been an interesting one.
I'm the
But
same. I'm a bit older. I'm in my 40s, but what I've done, and I'm not trying to sound boring, is I don't know. I just prefer going for a nice coffee now and not having to write off the rest of the weekend. Like if I go for a big night out, or if I couldn't imagine being drunk again because I now can look at the bigger picture and be like, but that means on Saturday I won't be able to do anything, and then Sunday I'll still feel a bit poorly, and then I've wasted the weekend and I'm back at work on Monday. So I kind of value that free time too much and think the drinking wasn't worth it.
mm. Oh, I love it in the moment though. I think the problem with me is that I don't do things by half measures.
No,
Like I like to go
all or
feral.
nothing.
Yeah, that's just how I am. Like, so yeah, it's just I always like kind of like in awe of people who have like a half pint and then that's it.
Never.
Additions.
Yeah, but then you've had the taste of it, and I'm suppose then you'd be like, well, I might as well have another 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then it resets, so you've had none.
I didn't think of it like that.
And you have to have 10. That's the goal.
Do you look at the future too much and worry about what's coming, or do you just live in the moment?
So being so busy
Yeah,
means I teach too much, which is like I think probably why I'm like addicted to having lots on because it's nice. You don't have time to think too far ahead. You just sort of sit and eat what's on your plate,
yeah.
and that's quite nice.
But you're not looking at what pudding's being brought out to you while you're eating, or you just kind of like, I'll finish what I've got and then see if I want pudding later.
I think yeah, I think sometimes I do. I have like an overarching like 5 year dream plan. Like I'm sure other people have be like, oh, it'd be nice to do this.
But then
But
before you know it, you blink and 4 years have gone, and you're like, shit, that 5 year
yeah, I need
plan's,
to
I've
get
only got a
working
year.
on it.
And then that's terrifying.
Yeah, I am. You know, I'm pretty good these days at just sort of like. I mean, I still have my like 3 a.m. thoughts as everyone does, but like I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty content of just sort of like panicking my way through my inbox.
What's the plan B for you? And that's not saying that your music career suddenly goes up and you don't have this band anymore, but if the band didn't continue, is there more solo work for you in the future? Would there be music that you'd write that wouldn't go under Employed to Serve that you'd like to just get out there one day? Is there more photography that you feel you want to achieve? Is there something else that you've got a passion for that would fill that void?
Oh, I think I'd always want to be in a band or like creating music. I think I really enjoy it. I think I really enjoy it. I need to be a bit more
You're
assertive.
really good at it as well. I'm not just kissing your ass, but you're good, so don't fucking throw it away.
I enjoy it actually. I guess like if like there was two things. So I was like when I was 18, I was getting into film and I used to film premieres and stuff like that. So like I kind of like would either go into film or book publishing because I really like reading. They're like my other sort of passions.
Film would be good. I adore film. I think I've always said it. One day I will make a film, and that's a crazy thing to say, But
Ah,
it's not going to be a Christopher Nolan film. It's not going to be a multi-million pound huge IMAX film. But one day I make little films that I use to promote the podcast, and I have fun with them, and I make silly little short 2 minute videos. But I'm always like, I would love to make a full film, and it might be like Wes Anderson. It might be a small, weird,
I
quirky film.
love Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
the
good.
best. But I feel like something like Moonrise Kingdom. I feel like there's a film in me that I'd love to make that'd be that simple on that kind of scale. I'm not saying his films are simple, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, or something like have you watched Marcel the Shell
I love that film.
or whatever it is? Oh, I love it. You
That
could do something.
stop motion is incredible.
I cried at a shell.
The voice was amazing though. The kid's voice of Marcel was just beautiful.
Yeah, so good. So you could do something like that. You don't even have to work with people then.
Yeah, I feel like me and you are on the same page a little bit. Like I've noticed a couple of times you've said about not working with people or being around too many people. Is there a little bit of Larry David in you? Are you just like I don't love people?
I think it's because like people don't think as far. Like I have like when I get an idea, I want to act on it, and
Yeah,
then I no, I'm kind of like that. But I want to preface this way. I love my band members, by the way. I
of
just
course. But the
I'm not
public in general, the band members are family, but outside of that, are the general public sometimes a bit annoying?
some are like I spent a lot of time in retail and
Yeah.
working like no money and like I had lovely people like that I came across and but then there was also like people just weird. They got weirder after the pandemic as well. And like I commuted into like central London for work for like 10 years. Like it's a hellscape. People just don't know how to walk in like a straight line.
No, I
And they
feel like you've done your time. 10 years is that's
I'm
it.
not
You should
doing
get a
that.
medal and be like, you've done your time now.
I feel like I should too. I've been saying this for ages.
Just got to tour more, and then you haven't got to do it as much.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's why I like touring actually. I'm in my own little ecosystem with my band. We barely go out for air. Like we're kind of in antisocial hours, so like we kind of get to the venue when people are like kind of leaving to go home, and then yeah, and then
Your
like we
day
go.
starts, yeah.
It's great. It's
I suppose I
quiet.
don't look at it like that. I always forget, like, I'll go and do press and I'll meet the band at 5 p.m. before sound check, and I'm like, oh shit, your day's starting now. I
Yeah,
never look at it like that. And everyone else is like, okay, thanks for my 9 till 5. See you tomorrow.
yeah. I mean, there's something very ambient about a service station.
Back to the service station. Here we go.
Like there's something like you got the whole toilets to yourself, and you can just sort of like I don't know.
Take your time.
Yeah, it's
No one's
great.
staring at you weirdly.
I mean, I'd hope you close the door when you go to the toilet, and then they wouldn't stare. But you know.
Urinals, there's no door to close.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. God, that's awkward.
Service stations late at night. If you're a man, I don't know. It's not selling it as well as
Yeah,
a meal deal at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Sheffield. You know.
yeah. No, I get that.
So, looking at the next few months ahead, play as many shows as you can, get the album out there, keep everyone happy, love the rest of the band, play some festivals. I've seen you on some festival posters, which is exciting.
Yeah, we're going back to Poland, which I'm really excited about for Mystic Festival. We're going to Jera on Air. I think that's the Netherlands, and then Grasspop, which is
Oh,
Belgium.
Grass Pop looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. All of those festivals always just have good lineups. I just feel like metal in general's just got a lot of good bands at the moment, so I think that really helps.
I was
Um,
thinking the other day, continue, I'm not mean to talk over you, but I was thinking a lot of people on my Instagram feed have all gone to see Limp Bizkit over the last week. And it's like I was there not as a name three songs, but I was there when they brought out their albums, 20, 25 years ago. And it feels like right now, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, even bands not as heavy like Incubus, are bigger now than they were then. It feels like the crowds at Wembley Arena and the O2 and Help with Sleep Token and bands like this. It feels like there's this resurgence of this huge metal scene and new metal and rock that everyone around me is enjoying the music that they used to take the piss out of me for.
yeah, no, it's they're definitely like on a high at the moment.
Yeah,
I feel like we're in fashion now.
yeah.
Like I would like go to like Urban Outfitters and places like that, and there's like band t-shirts, and like H&M has like Slipknot and Nine Inch Nails t-shirts. Like we're very much like our culture as being, be like in vogue. So I think from that, that's like got a lot of like younger people into it. I think like TikTok's a really big thing too. Like I feel like there's lots of young people on TikTok like really stoked on finding bands, which is really exciting. Um and yeah, like just the how like the virality of things on TikTok. Like Deftones is huge on TikTok, like Sleep Token especially. Loathe is another one. I'm
It's
like,
great though, isn't it? It's so good to
yeah,
see those bands that have worked hard and put all the graft in and now
yeah,
kind of reaping the rewards. Like
finally, right?
Sleep Token is insane. Like it's one of the biggest, it's not even a cult, it's just this phenomenon that is just insane. Like you can't get your head around it. Like last week they were like, we've got an announcement, and you're like, okay, I hope it's new music, and it's like, here's a song. Overnight I think it had like 9 million plays. I'm like, wow. Here's a tour in America, and it's like massive huge arenas and it's going to sell out. Brand
Yeah,
new album, and it's
they've
just
got
like,
plushies.
they've
People have
got
made
what?
plushies. They've got plushies. People have made plushies of
That's when you know you've made it.
Vessel. Like it's almost like Vesselmania. Like it's just,
WrestleMania, that's incredible.
yeah, it's insane. Like there's some, yeah, real thirsty things on TikTok as well.
Oh my god.
It's really weird. You can really go down a rabbit hole. It doesn't, it literally takes a couple of swipes before you're in that rabbit hole as well.
Yeah.
It's alarming. I mean, it says a lot about my algorithms.
And your late night, what are you up to? Like, what should I do? Just go on a little random dive, type in Sleep Token, then it's Vessel, and the next thing you know, it's
Weird. It gets
yeah.
weird.
Looking at your schedule, you're at 2000 Trees again.
Yeah, I love that festival.
It's my
Probably
favorite.
the only sunny festival in the UK.
Yeah, I was there last year, and I did a set with Frank Turner on the Forest stage,
Oh, nice.
and
Acoustic one.
yeah, so we did a live podcast, and then he came up and played some songs in between. And I don't know what it is about that festival. And I tell my friends, and they're all like, I'm going to download, I'm going to Glastonbury, I'm going to Reading. I'm like, don't this year, just come to 2000 Trees. It's one big celebration of music. Everyone's lovely. It's a huge, amazing atmosphere. Every band is different, and I don't know, it just feels like home. I go there and I'm like, as great as Download is, and as great as the lineups are for the other festivals in the UK, the moment I go to 2000 Trees, I'm like, it feels different.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's completely different vibe, isn't it? Like both Trees and Arctangent, who are like owned by the same
Yeah,
people, just super chill. It's sort of more like it's definitely a more like music fans festival in terms of like all of the up and coming like new cool bands that are going to be big in like I don't know 10 years.
yeah,
They start out there and like they're incredible. Like I also just love like how nerdy everyone is. Like
yeah.
you go to like the merch tent and there's so many like people browsing all the records, talking about their schedules. They have like spreadsheets of everything. It's
It's
great.
so true. I love it. And I can't wait. And it must be exciting to go back and be playing again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's not
It's
long
always
either.
just a nice festival just to play.
Yeah. And then I suppose will the rest of the year just be seeing what comes?
Yeah, so we're doing more
It's,
European dates later this year. And
yeah.
then next year is going to be busy as well. So yeah, hopefully busy. I like moving around. I kind of live where I live because it's like by the M25 and easy to get in and out of.
Yeah. Which means loads of service stations.
Oh yeah, all
My
sort out.
final question is, and I ask this to everyone that comes on the podcast, and I'm going to put you under a little bit of pressure now. Every guest that comes on gets the final question to choose a song that means a lot to you. Now, you can't go and pick one of your own songs. That's just not allowed. It's a bit too arrogant. So what you need
Yeah.
to do is pick a song that when I ask you the question comes to your heart and your soul before any other. And what happens then is once the podcast is all edited and I've made us sound really good, nice and polished, and the world's ready to listen, at the very end of the podcast, one song will play, and it'll be because you've chose it. And I wondered what song you'd love to be played out at the end of our amazing chat today.
You're gonna want my knee jerk answer, don't you? Like
Yeah, I'm not going to
it's
let you text me in like a week and be like, I've changed my mind. I know you're editing, but I've just thought, actually, can I swap it for Justin Timberlake, Love Stoned?
mine's TLC Scrubs.
Wow. And what's the reason you felt that came to you before any other song in the history of music?
No, just female empowerment.
I love that reason. That's an amazing justification, to be fair.
My hype, I have a 4 hour hype list. It's a long
Yeah.
time for hype, but that's on it. Very like high up. Like it's my pre-stage song,
Yeah.
along with like Destiny's Child. So yeah, no
That's a
sweat.
hell of a banger, to be fair. And people will have been like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I thought she'd pick something really heavy like Slayer. But I think the fact that we started today talking about how great Justin Timberlake is a bit of foreshadowing for the outro.
Yeah. I mean, he was my first love, so you know,
And, you know, that love will never be topped.
no, never.
No one else has noodles on their head and gets away with it.
Well, he's lost the noodles now.
I
I
think he's
think
lost the plot a bit now. That's not to be quoted and put on a magazine, but I think he's not quite the same guy he used to be. He looks like he's struggling a bit.
no,
He
poor
needs
guy.
you. He misses
He
you. He
does.
wants you back. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I'm trying to think when our paths will cross again, hopefully at 2000 Trees. If you
Yeah, I
guys
can
aren't
imagine.
hiding away and being a band that don't mix and talk to people, then I'll come and say hello and buy you a drink and say, how's things?
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Yeah, we'll be milling about. I think we're playing like a decent time where there's time to hang out before and after. So
That'd be cool. And you'll be like, I'll be like, how many drinks you had? You're like 21. I'll be like, you're on stage in an hour.
10, so it's nothing.
Yeah, there you go. It's reset twice. So genuinely, I'm not just saying this, and you'll probably think, yeah, right. But today's been really good. Like I've enjoyed today's interview. Like some of the interviews I do, I'm like, we just didn't click, or something just didn't happen. I'm not expecting every guest to be my best friend and we fall in love and have an amazing interview. But you know, when you just finish an interview and you're like, that was fucking great. That didn't feel like work. That was a really good chat, and I feel like we've only
Yeah,
just
I
scraped
enjoyed
the
our chat.
surface. So we will do a part two when the time's right. Maybe in 6 months, and we can
And we're
catch
doing
up.
RO2 Arena. Manifest.
Yes, that would be awesome. So there's my interview with me and Justine from the amazing band Employed to Serve. Now, I did tell you it was going to go everywhere, and meal deals is a topic that I think should have a podcast dedicated to itself. But it was great to share the love with Justine. I think the chemistry was amazing. I had so much fun. I was smiling all the way through. I adore her. I absolutely love the band, and I've told you enough times on this episode, you need to go and buy their album, Fallen Star. It's literally out now. It's so good. My album of the year. And once you've listened, come back on my socials and let me know what you think. And the important part is, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please share. You know the score by now, guys. If you've enjoyed today's episode, loads of people on your feed will know the band Employed to Serve by you just literally putting it as your story. And yes, I see all you do it. It means so much. Sharing it on Facebook, retweeting it, whatever you do to share the episodes, even just telling your friends that like good music, it all helps Mark and me reach a bigger audience, and that is something that money can't buy. So please keep on supporting, and I'll keep on releasing these episodes. Also, if you've enjoyed today's episode and want to go that little bit further, I do have a Patreon account. You hear me and Justine talking about how no money is made from these podcasts or touring, and how life when you do something that you love and passionate about is a struggle. Well, to keep the podcast going, I have to pay to host it on all these different directories like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and to do that, I have to keep paying every month. So any support that comes on Patreon really does go a long way. And a big shout out to the two sponsors of Mark and me. Firstly, the amazing folks at Richer Sounds. If you love music and want to buy yourself some headphones to listen to bands like Employed to Serve, go on their website richersounds.com, visit any of their high street stores. They won't be beaten on price and are the best guys out there. And finally, Vice Press. If you love movies, you love TV, you love incredible collectible prints that are all officially licensed, Go on their website, vicepress.com, add anything to your cart, and if you add the discount code MarkandMe10, you will get yourself 10% off your first purchase. So thanks to both Richer Sounds and Vice Press for supporting the podcast. Right, I hope you've all enjoyed today's interview as much as me. I won't tell you again that the album Fallen Star is out now and you should go and buy it. What I will say is that I've got a brand new episode coming out in only a few days' time with an absolutely incredible, huge band where most people will be pinching themselves thinking this didn't happen, but it did. But until then, please look after yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
A scrub is a guy that thinks he's fly and is also known as a buster. Always talking about what he wants and just sits on his broke ass. So, no, I don't want your number, no. I don't wanna give you mine, and no, I don't wanna meet you nowhere, no. Don't want none of your time, and no, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. He's checking me, but his game is kinda weak, and I know that he cannot approach me, 'cause I'm looking like class and he's looking like trash. Can't get with a deadbeat ass. So, no, I don't want your number, no. I don't wanna give you mine, and no, I don't wanna meet you nowhere, no. Don't want none of your time. No, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. You don't have a car and you're walking. Oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you live at home with your mama. Oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. If you have a shorty that you don't show love. Oh yes, son, I'm talking to you. Wanna get